Hello there, everybody. Hope you're having a great day, night, whatever it is, whatever time you're watching this. So basically what I wanted to chat about today was my journey and how I got to where I am now. So and basically why I'm posting this video is because my hope is to help people out there who may be in a struggling relationship or just went through a breakup or are going through a divorce, because I've been through all these situations before, and I am the most happy and healthiest I've ever been, and I just kind of wanted to share my journey and how I'm where I am today and still growing, and maybe just I could touch somebody's life. So anyway, to start, I met my ex-husband, who's the father of my children, back in the year 2000. Fell head over heels. I was 20 years old. He was 21. In the first month, we were pregnant. And then shortly thereafter, our first doctor appointment, they didn't find a heartbeat. And so we went through that whole process of, going through the miscarriage and those things together. And then 4 months later, we started building a house together. So, we're only talking 5 months into a relationship. And then 8 months into our relationship, we got pregnant again with our oldest, who is now 18. And so, it was one of those things where we just didn't really give each other the time to get to know each other. So, after our oldest was born, we were still going through, the house process, and, it was very stressful time. We were in our early 20s. We didn't know what we were doing, and, we weren't grown up. So there was a lot of arguing and fighting and crying and, drinking and going out and just, all these different mix of emotions. So we were kind of back and forth a lot. Obviously, once I had our first child, things seemed to slow down maybe a little, but not a lot. And we were still in that I'm gonna call it the Garfield Odie stage. We're just fight each other constantly. And, it was because we loved each other so much. We wanted to make it work, but it was still our personalities just didn't jive, and we went through this for 16 years. Okay. So, but just, that was the first year of a relationship. And then 5 years later, we have our daughter. And then 5 years later, we have another boy. And, throughout that process, it was we were just holding on to something for so long that was never going to be anything different because of what we already created for ourselves. It was we got ourselves in such a hole that there was no way we were going to be able to dig out of that. And we didn't grow together. I mean, he had other things going on, and he had not other plans, I wouldn't say, but we just didn't. I had other things envisioned, for my life, for our lives together, and it just wasn't the same. And so I felt myself in the last 4 years or 3 years of a relationship, just growing away from him. And then some things happened, and I drank a lot, in that time frame. I mean, that's what we had in common. And, people were constantly in and out of our house. And it was just the kids were always running around, and we never had a routine. And it was just chaotic. If I go back and think about everything, I'm you almost feel you messed your kids up because you didn't take the time to think about them first, because we were so focused on all the negative things that were surrounding us, because neither one of us were happy, neither one of us were confident, both of us drank, which is a downer. Neither one of us worked out, and that's good for the mental side of things too, and I'll get to that later. But so it was just like, and we always did something to each other to like, well, I'm gonna get back at you, or I'm gonna do this, or I'm gonna do that. And like, you know how it is, if you've been in that situation, it's just like a snowball effect. And so about 3.5 years ago, I just decided like, enough's enough. Like, it was almost like he was just my roommate at that point, and not what was the point, because we do have 3 kids and we fought for a really long time. Like, I mean, like, not physically, just like we fought to have this relationship for so long because we wanted it to work, because we loved each other. We were not in love with each other, and there's a huge difference in that. So yeah, like 3.5, well, it'll be 4 years soon, ago, I was just like, okay, enough's enough. Like, for ourselves and our children, we have to move on. Like, we just have to. So I filed, I moved out in October of 16. Our divorce was final by January because we didn't really have anything to fight about. I let him have the house. I didn't want it, so I wanted to get out on my own, and I did that, and we still today share custody. We co-parent extremely well together. We actually like each other now, so that's a great thing, and that's how it should be. It's unfortunate when you can't make those things work when you're in the same household, but it is what it is sometimes. I kind of hate that saying, but sometimes it is. So with that, I was having a hard time, because I was out by myself, and when the kids were gone, I was like, what do I do with myself? Like, I don't know what to do. All my friends have kids and families and, their own lives. And, I was like, well, like when I didn't have the kids on the weekend, I'm like, okay, I want to drink some beers, or like, I don't know, just go to the movies or dinner with somebody. And like, I didn't have that, and I didn't know what to do with my time. While I was talking to, one of my very best friends in the world, she was like, okay, this is what you need to do. She was like, go get a 6-pack and watch The Secret on Netflix. And I was like, okay, I'll do that. What is it, And so she kind of explained to me about what it was, about manifesting. And honestly, I was like, what is that? It's never been introduced to me in my life before. But I thought, well, I trust her, so what the heck? I'm going to give it a shot. And I did. And I took notes the whole entire time. And if you haven't watched it, you need to watch it, especially if you're going through a hard time in your life and you're just trying to like find yourself again. Do it. I promise you won't regret it. And the secret is, envisioning and making things happen in your life, because your mental state is in your vibration are so high that these things will come to you because you envision them and you're passionate about it and you're excited about it. And so when I wrote these things down, I just wrote down some things that it told you to do. Like, it'll give you an exercise here or there. And so I did that. But did I really feel like the passion? Not really. So I was like, okay, whatever. Well, I went on. Well, a few weeks later, there was something I had written down, and I called her and I was like, oh my gosh, like this weird thing happened to me today, and it wasn't anything like big. So it didn't really like trigger me too much, but I was like, okay, like I'm on this right path. Well then, but then I kind of like went through the process of like, okay, now I'm vulnerable, though. I'm still in a vulnerable state because, I had lived with someone for so long and my kids were in the house, and like, okay, now what do I do? I mean, we had separated, here and there before, but it was like serious this time. And I was like, okay, now what do I do? So I went through this vulnerable period where I was just like hanging out with whoever, doing whatever, and it was not good for me. You know, just like, instead of finding someone that was better for me, I just kind of like was like, oh, okay, I'll just hang out with whoever wants to hang out with me right now, because it was like almost like I needed that attention from someone, because I was used to it, no matter if it was negative or positive. And that was because I wasn't self-confident yet. And then I like let go of that, and I'm honestly gonna do like a whole separate like dating blog, because I have some stories about that. But the very first person that I actually did an online dating, and then the first date I had, like, this guy like said it all, had it all, you know. Oh my gosh, I was like, oh my gosh, everything I ever wanted in my life, like this guy has it, right? Does it, everything. And we like met and spent the whole weekend together, and nothing sexual even happened. We just had a great time, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, what is going on? Well, it turns out he was like the silent manipulator narcissist. So anyway, I learned a whole lot from that, and that's like another story for another day. But I learned a whole lot from that situation. And then from there, I was just very like conscious about like, you know, who I went out with and things like that. And I met so many great people along the way. And the thing is with that is like, then you start to grow, right? And people cross your path for a reason. Okay, so like some of the guys that like I went out with, I mean, obviously I'm like, ugh, you know, whatever. But some I have developed some great friendships with, and they like, my soul is deep, and I love having those deep, intense, you know, conversations and intellectual conversations. And I love to laugh too, you know, but sometimes I want somebody to slow down, like have these intellectual conversations with me, even if it's about the stars and the moon, you know, whatever it is. But anyway, so I've met some great people because of that. So you like take that as a learning lesson. And I'm talking about my one friend in particular, but he just does. He like understands me and how I feel about those kind of things. So I like learned that. And then, you know, like the next person, I might learn this or that. So I had a lot of great experiences, just nobody to really like settle down with. Anyway, that's a whole, like I said, whole different story. I'm getting off the track here, but but I do have to like tie this one in, because this particular person that I met, I was a smoker, and for many years, and we were just chatting one day, and he was like, you know, that's disgusting, right? And I'm like, obviously I know that, you know, but it's like once you create that habit, it's hard to drop it. If you're a smoker, you know, or an ex-smoker, you know. And I thought, well, I'll show you then, you know what I mean? So I went away on a weekend, and I did not smoke the whole entire weekend. And then I came back home, and I told my brother, actually, I was like, okay, take this pack of cigarettes that I have. I don't care what you do with them. He's not a smoker, so I was like, I don't care what you do with them. Like, get rid of them. I don't care what you do. Don't let me have them. If I ask for them, get rid of them. I don't know. Anyway, he did. That was February of 2018. And I never picked them up again. I have not touched a cigarette since February of 18, and it's been the best thing I've ever done in my life. Well, what happened then was I gained a bunch of weight, because obviously I can taste food better now, right? And I'm like, oh, everything's so good, and I just want to eat. And then I don't have anything to do with my hands, so I'm like, you know, and especially like I love to, especially like on summer or fall nights, I love to sit on the deck, and that was my thing, like smoke a cigarette, drink a beer, smoke a cigarette, drink a Coke, whatever it was. That was my thing to do. So I was like, oh boy, now what am I gonna do? You know, eat. So, or drink more, you know? So anyhow, in October late October of 18, I was following somebody on Instagram, and she just posted a side-by-side picture of herself, just her face, but I could tell like the a huge difference from like just her face. And so I reached out to her. I was like, man, you like look really amazing. And then she immediately said back to me, thank you so much. Have you undergone a transformation yourself? And I was like, you know, no, but I need to. And then she and I just started like video chatting back and forth, and turns out that she's like health and fitness coach, and like I needed that, you know, and that's what I mean. Certain people cross your paths for certain reasons, and she just came at the right time. And I was afraid because I was like, oh, I don't know. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to work out. I don't know I don't know if I want to spend less money. I don't know this, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, she made everything like so easy for me and just so smooth. Well, I signed up at the end of October. November 1st, I started my first workout. Like I said, and it takes 21 days to create a habit, and I did that for myself, and I haven't looked back. I've worked out almost every day since, and that was, you know, almost 2 years ago. And since I found health and fitness, now I'm not going to say my nutrition's 100 because it certainly isn't, but I do try to be conscious of what I do eat. But I give myself, you know, I give myself, like, I'm like, okay, you can have a snack today or whatever. But anyway, so but I didn't start out like that. I started out with like soup cans because I didn't have weights at home. And when it said you needed resistance loops, I was like, what are those? I don't know. What are strength slides? I don't know what those are, you know? So I had to educate myself on those things. But I'm in this accountability group too, right? So like I would just bounce questions off of these women that I'm in a community with, and they would just so helpful and awesome to me. And you know, and that's all it is. That's all life is. It's a learning experience. But it's like so like life is so good, and especially like when you're growing and you are positive and you see the good in everything and you see the positive light and you have the good vibes. I mean, it is so true. Like all these good things will come to you. And I always knew that I had that in me. I knew there was that person in me. I lost her when, you know, through all those years because I was concentrating on everything else except putting myself first. When if I just would have done that a long time ago, my life would have been completely different. But I didn't know that. I mean, nobody educated me about those things, you know, so I had to go out and learn those things myself. And thankfully, my kids are young enough where I can instill that in them, and I try to do that every single day. But, you know, what I'm trying to say is like once I found the health and fitness side of things, I mean, my mental state went from like, it's crazy because I mean, I think everybody in life will struggle with depression, anxiety at least once or twice in their life, but I've struggled with anxiety since I was 18. I obviously know how to control it better now. You know, when it starts to happen, I know I have things that I do, but I don't feel it as much. I mean, at all. They don't come on as strong. I don't feel them as much. I think about the positive. I write things down. Oh my gosh, just to write things down. Get a journal. Write things down. Write the things down that you are, that you're thankful for every single day. Before you go to bed, write down what you want. You know what I mean? Or not what you want, but what you are. Like, you see yourself as what do you want to be? You want to be a leader, you want to be a coach, you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to, you know, a promotion in that job that you're in right now. I mean, write it down, envision it, feel it, get a vision board, put everything on there. I'm serious. I have this vision board right outside my bedroom door here, and I see it every morning when I wake up. And I bet in 2020, even though it's been this crazy year, I can mark off 5 or 6 things already in this pandemic. I mean, I created a business, you know, in this pandemic, you know, just because I was like, you gotta find something to do. And I found something that I love to do. And I love making home decor. I do wreaths and shadow boxes and flower vases, and I just love doing that kind of stuff. So I created that. But, you know, I keep going back to the fitness side of things because I didn't find my confidence until I found it. Because I mean, I was feeling better, obviously, because I quit smoking and I quit drinking pop. So that was a big deal too. It definitely makes you sleep better at night. And so anyway, but just I find that, like, excuse me, the better side of things instead of being on the negative side of things. I have learned to cut all that out. I don't want your drama. I don't want your negativity. You know, obviously I have a Facebook, I have an Instagram. I just hide those people. Like, Instagram's obviously not, as you can't post all that kind of stuff out there, but Facebook's really bad for those things. So I just hide those people. Just hide those things out of your life. You know, we all have, you know, family members that are like, or friends that aren't supportive of what we're doing, but that's okay. They don't have to be. You just have to believe in what you're doing, that you're doing the right thing and you're going along the right path. Who cares what other people think? But seriously, because when you do that, when you let go of that, you'll be so much happier. You will be so much happier. And for those of you that, like, maybe just recently, like, did what I did, you know what I mean? You left your life behind because you had to, because that was the right thing to do. Just know that it's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay, and everything's going to work out, and you're going to come out on top. I'm going to end this now because it's been like 20 minutes, but I just wanted to say that if anybody like took anything from this video, please reach out or just shoot me a message. I mean, I would love to hear your feedback. And anyway, I'll be posting more videos on my dating blog soon. So I hope you guys have a great night. Take care.